Hi guys, we're starting to get ready for Adepticon. I know I did a couple of months ago. I did these tiles. I did a video and then kind of left it to the side. There were a lot of other things going on in life. It's time to get going on this, and I wanted to get you guys a little bit of an idea of what this is going to look like. This first board that we're building, it's going to be this centerpiece with the tower on it, surrounded by these boats. And what I'm going to be doing is we're going to be making upper pieces that can sit on these boats. So basically the way this board's going to be set up is we set up this, then we set up the boats, and then we'll have these other pieces that go on the boats that either join, get a better shot here, join through catwalks across, and then everybody can actually play on every part of this board. Then the second board, well, you know what, we'll just leave the second board. We'll leave the second board for another video. So, but these are what it's going to be looking like. This video is going to be me just futzing around a little bit. All right, let's get going. Okay, so anyways, I got a whole bunch of different stuff out here, and I figured I should probably start working on the big boat. I got some 3D prints, some walls, I got some MDF crates, I got one of these guys, which is actually a nail bin. Let's swing over here. Yeah, the nail bin is pretty neat. You know, I got some stuff that looks like this. It's all really cool. Oh yeah, I even found a few of these that I haven't. Were some scatter terrain, which this is always good stuff. If you guys, you know, lose a little bit of, you know, you're going through your bits pile and everything, you can't quite find, you know, what you're looking for. You know, just using some scatter terrain is always a good idea. But yeah, I got one of these big boats out here, and some of the higher end stuff. Oh wow, I didn't even think about that. Huh. Neat. This is kind of neat. Upside down, but I mean, who cares, right? At this point, we're just building stuff. Well, that ladder doesn't really work there. I'll do it that way, but yeah, this is old Pegasus stuff. Really old too. A friend of mine was again clearing out their basement or the garage, and somehow it ends up back down here in the basement of Dale's, so I can use it to build this stuff. But yeah, I got two really big boats, and then I've got two smaller boats that we're going to be working on. And yeah, today's video is just basically kit bashing and getting... I'm figuring these two big pieces are going to be on either one of them. This one and the big green boat over there. And then we'll get this built here, and then we'll work on, well, basically texturing whatever we're going to be using. Yeah, it's going to be, the concept is going to be something like that with this on top. Get a little different shot here. Yeah, something like that. This puts us, around a foot high, a little less than that, maybe 10 inches, and that's plenty. You know, the tower is 11 inches tall, and yeah, you know, we're just gonna futz around here with some different stuff. You know, these are pretty much already built, you know, and then these pieces that I'm building right here, they'll be able to go onto any one of the boats. You know, the boats will go down. You know, you'll put a boat down. Oh, and by the way, the boats, these are, I believe, TT Combat. I don't know if the kit for this is available anymore. This was another one where a friend of mine just, you know, he wanted to clean up his stuff. Oh my God, it's so important we clean up everything. And, you know, just give away, you know, really good bits. You know, and yeah, this is really part of it here. You know, we're gonna be, well, I mean, you know, let's get into it here. Ooh, I've got this thing too. That thing's neat. Oh, look at how cool that is. This is neat. It's got ladders going up. And you can put models underneath there. Okay. Alright. Yep. This is what we're gonna do. Okay, this seems stable. I know it doesn't right now. These are 3D prints that a buddy of mine gave me. But I think this gives me the height I want. And this should be a nice base. Let's pull the boat over here again. Pull the boat over here again. So this, yeah, once I get this glued together, we should be able to put it pretty much anywhere except on that center beam on these big ones. And we should be able to do it that way too. Oh, that's neat. Okay. The trick is whether I want to cut whether I want to cut a base for this to glue this bottom piece down. Yeah, I think I do. I think I do. Alright. Yeah, that's a good idea. This is pretty damn stable though. You know, for a whole bunch of pieces and parts putting around on here. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll cut a little bit of plastic card base here to put these on, and then yeah, we'll glue these together. It'll be cool. All right, let's get going. So, anyways, we got the other boat here, the other big one, the green boat. I was most impressed with the height I got out of that last one. So, what I'm thinking here is we utilize a couple of things. Now, one of the things about these kinds of terrain builds is you want to make sure that you can get models. You know, not only should it be stable, obviously, but you want to make sure that you can get models from one position to another. These are somewhere around the 5-inch range, which means every model in the range, I believe, should be able to move up and down. You know, there's obviously falling and everything, but yeah, this is a nice stable build. We're gonna have a platform on the outside here, so they'll be able to come up from here to here, and then from there to there. I suppose I could do something like this too. That would give a space for a model. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. I like that. Yeah, then we have spaces for models up and down the whole tower. And then even if you turn it, you know, if you turn it this way, then it still works. Okay. All right. I think that's the way we're going to go. Okay, now we're down to the other two boats. I think I have, after a bit of fiddling, I think I'm going to use these towers that I've already built. You know, not every project has to be absolutely ridiculous from start to finish. So what we're going to do here is we're going to adjust these a little bit so the platforms can go on top of them, and then we're going to build bases for the bottom here. Basically, let's see here. Yeah, the same thing I did with the other tower. We're just going to mount these on each individual. That'll make it a little bit more stable. Not that these aren't stable. These are surprisingly a very stable piece of Games Workshop terrain. When I was building it, I didn't think so, but yeah. Trying to figure out whether I'm going to take these railings off or not, and then make it flatter. That's always a better bet. You know, we'll have a flat on flat. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm gonna mess around with this for a little bit here, and then hopefully it'll be all done here by the end of this next speed up. All right. Okay, so we are at the point of, we have our pieces glued. I've let them dry for a few days now. I added a few little, hold on. I added a few little details like ladders and stuff like that. But now what we're going to do is we're going to seal this. And for the most part, it's this piece that we're going to be working on a little bit more. As you can see, the E6 that I used really solidified this up. Now I put these on with super glue here, only because the E6, you have to sit there and hold it. you know, the whole time. So yeah, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do our Elmer's blue mainly to coat this, but I'm also going to add it on the tower pieces here down on the bottom with the plexiglass. And just what we're going to do for this is we're going to, and I got it started here in the barrel already. We're going to add sand right away, and then we're just going to add glue and a little bit of water to this. Oh, there's the other. Oh, for crying out loud. Here's the other piece. Yeah, looks like we're gonna have to put this together too. I didn't even realize that was a weak point until just now. So, and you know what's really funny? That's something else to keep in mind with these kinds of builds. Excuse me. You have to handle it. You have to handle your stuff. You have to test out, you know, what's the weak point right away, you know, so that you can address it here, you know, and it saves a little bit of embarrassment when, you know, when guys are playing on your stuff and then they break it, of course. We are going to mix this nice and thick. This is going to be, I think I actually need, oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, we're making a paste out of it. That's cool. I didn't even realize that was a thing. Yeah, just a little bit more glue. And with this one, I'm kind of searching for the, you know, I don't really have a rule. I'm searching for a consistency. More than anything. And this seems to be a little bit thicker than what I'm normally used to. But that's okay. When the glue, the PVA glue finally dries, it's a little gloppy, isn't it? Let's see here. Yeah, you know, that's not so bad. This isn't so bad. So basically what I'm going to do here, now this piece fell apart right away on me. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to get this on. And again, this is texture. This will provide texture. It will immerse the piece a bit. More than anything, what it's going to do is it's going to reinforce your assembly, which is, you know, really cool. And then we're going to do a little bit here where we have some texture on this. I can't wait to get these pieces dried and somewhat on the board, playing with them a little bit, because I've come up with another idea we could do, you know, at game. Because, you know, you have a specific idea, you know, of what you would like this to be used for. But you are somewhat silly if you don't take into effect that it should be able to be used in some multiple situations that are different, you know. And again, this is all going to dry clear, you know, and if it dries a little bit with the white sand texture on it, that's okay, you know. We wanna enhance the experience of the terrain, so we definitely want it. Now I'm getting a little bit of dripping right now, which is good, to be honest. That's, you know, this is in the sump, should be dripping, you know. We're getting some of that right there. Oops, see it in the camera here, hold on. doop, we're getting some of this, you know, that's coming down, and that's a natural flow. It's nice. And you want to just add, just, you know, this is all texturing, you know, and we're making our pieces stronger, and, you know, we're also, you know, just adding to the ambiance of the board. You know, I mean, this, like I said, this is the Sump. It's dripping. There's moisture all over the place. Now you can call it water if you want to. You know, I don't know. I like the fact that this little step here does several things all at once. So at this point, I think I'm going to speed this up, and we'll get all the rest of the pieces done for you, and then we'll be back. All right, here we are. Everybody's dry now, and fairly solid, which is really cool. Yeah, this solided up really nice. So these two pieces are pretty much done, except for adding lights, but that's not going to happen until after we paint. So I'll put this over here. So yeah, I'll get them out of the way so we don't knock them off and break them after we did all this work to them. So with this, I wanted to add a few other details to them, and especially with this one. So this worked out really well, and even if the glue is chipping off on the end here, that's not going to be a big deal. The deal was we're sealed, so it'll take paint decently. I really like this. This solided up really nice. That stuff really dried into a paste. So all we're gonna do here is we're gonna get, I don't know if you guys, this is the Lair of the Beast token that comes. I have a ton of these things, but of course I used a lot of the tentacles on the Hive Secundus builds. So what I'm thinking is just a little bit more detail here. Yeah, that looks like a pipe that's dumping out there. So we're gonna bring forth the other trick, which of course is the super glue and baking soda trick, which we'll glue right onto this. You know, even though this is glue, you know, already glued, that's okay, not a big deal. Oh, that's on there, that's already. Another one over here. You don't need a whole ton of extra stuff too badly. These are, you know, again, we're in terrain, and you know, I do have a tendency to sometimes, you know, overdo it. I'm not sure when the next episode of our favorite podcast comes out, but I do have a little bit of a problem sometimes with my house building, where I get too many details, and you have to learn how to stop. you know, that's what it is here. And look at that. That worked out just fine. And then we've got one of these. Which, truth is, I should be able to double glue this because I just wanted to get one right in here. And again, we're just going to use the super glue baking soda trick. I really enjoy this trick a lot because, you know, once you get the seal down, of course I glued it with the skull in the wrong direction, but that's okay. Yeah, it only takes a second to do it, and I should probably do one on the other side, so I gotta go find one here. There we go. Found one of these here. We're just gonna do on the other side over here. Oh, that should go right in there. That'll be nice. All right. Not crooked, that's right. Not fitting. There we go. Now, as you guys probably are going to hammer me on about, you know, it's not necessarily straight. That's okay. That's okay. Not a big deal at all. Oh, wow. I'm messing around with it too much here. There we go. Yeah, there we go. All right. Yeah, so, you know, I'm not going to do too much more detail to this. I think we can utilize, because we have so much good texture on these things, we can utilize painting and poster work, you know, a little later. And like I said, we're going to have light, we're going to, well, actually, I don't know if I said this before. We are going to do lighting on this. I do it a little bit differently than a lot of other people do. Wow, this is really down here hard on my cardboard here. Okay. Cool. 3, 4. Okay. This is the end of this first build video. I want to make a good succession of these. So, you know, and if there's questions on how I've done all of this or what my ideas are, I want to give all of you plenty of time to, you know, just ask. Yeah, so we're going to do a walkthrough here, and then we're going to close the video out. So see you guys in the next one.